Are you planning on visiting Disneyland in 2023? If you are, watch this video first, okay? A lot has changed. There's a lot of updates coming to the park, and there might be some things that you're not aware of. So before you go with your friends or family, take a watch because this might help maximize your day at the park. Here at Jake at the Park. So you're planning on visiting Disneyland in 2023. Nice choice, by the way. First things first, let's buy tickets. Now, let's say you wanted to get an annual pass or what is known as a Magic Key at Disneyland. Unfortunately, the sales of Magic Keys as of right now have paused, so you cannot purchase a Magic Key if you haven't already done so. But let's say you still have one, but you want to renew it. That is available. Starting 30 days before your Magic Key is about to expire, you will get the option to renew it, and I highly suggest doing it if that was something that you were planning on doing. That way you can lock in that pricing and not have to worry about it. However, there is a little bit of a caveat if you do have the Dream Key. The Dream Key has been discontinued altogether, so it doesn't exist anymore. It is now known as the Inspire Key. So if you do have that, unfortunately, you cannot renew the Dream Key. You just have to enjoy it up until its expiration, but the rest of the Magic Keys are good for renewal. There just is no sales as of now. I'm sure that will reopen up eventually, depending on when you're watching this video. We may have new sales of Magic Keys as we speak, but as of right now in 2023, only renewals except for the Dream Key. So let's say annual passes aren't your thing or you're not concerned about Magic Keys. You can obviously get a single day ticket. You can do a 5-day park hopper. Whatever range of ticket or tickets you plan on purchasing, the price depends on the peak day in which you go and of course is available. I'll get to that in a second. If it is closer towards a holiday or a peak day, the price is going to be significantly higher than if you just go on a random Wednesday, let's say, in mid-January. So if you have the ability to know ahead of time what day you want to go, and there's some flexibility on, going on a Wednesday versus a Saturday, consider that because tickets will be significantly cheaper and you can definitely save some money from that. You might be unfamiliar with the reservation system that Disney now implements at all their parks. I promise if this is new to you, it's super simple, very flexible as well. But basically when you purchase a ticket, you then have to pick which day that you want to go and make a reservation for it. So it's not like you can just purchase any ticket and show up at the park and be able to enter. It's based off of availability, and obviously closer towards the holidays or peak days, the tickets not only go up in price, but you might not get availability. So what I suggest doing is the moment that you are planning a trip in 2023 to Disneyland, you order your tickets online or do it through the Disneyland app. But when you do that, make a reservation for what day or days you plan on going, even if you're not completely sure. And I say not completely sure because, look, things change. Sometimes the dates totally change, or you unfortunately wake up and are sick that day. Regardless of what the issue is, Disney is super flexible with changing your day. However, what can happen, unfortunately, is say you book mid-May to go to Disneyland. You have that reservation, but then all of a sudden you need to change it. Well, your new date might not be available. So the moment you have the ability to pick your days, just do it, lock it in. That way you have the price locked in, you have the day locked in, and of course you can always change it if need be. Having said that, let's now take it up a level. Let's say that you purchase the park hopper option, which allows you to hop from Disneyland and Disney California Adventure. That is still available for an additional fee. However, you cannot park hop until 1 p.m. Having said that, when you make your initial reservation, when you purchase your tickets, Disney asks you, well, which park do you want to start at? And basically you pick whichever one, whether it's DCA or Disneyland, and then come 1 p.m., you can park hop back and forth as many times as you want. But keep that in mind because just because you have a park hopper doesn't mean you can park hop at 10 in the morning. It's not only until 1 p.m. that you can then begin park hopping, and you can go back and forth as much as you want. If you're visiting Disneyland for the first time, you're gonna love it. It's so exciting. But a lot of people say that if Disney World is kind of your like local park or the park that you grew up with, that Disneyland feels small. And it is. It is smaller. But Disneyland has so much history, and especially when you're walking down Main Street, there's so much that is kind of attached to Walt Disney that Disney World doesn't necessarily have. Having said all that, because Disneyland isn't as large as Disney World, if this is your first time, you can easily park hop back and forth the entire day. Disneyland is on one side of the Anaheim property, and then like 100 yards away is California Adventure. So it's super easy to park hop back and forth. And to be honest, while you can definitely purchase a multi-day pass, it's very easy, especially if you get there early, to visit both parks all in one day. So you're up to speed with tickets by now, right? You got the reservation system, how park hopping works, there's no magic keys, only up for renewals. Last and certainly not least, because this is a hot topic, is the cost of parking. It's something we tend to forget, but every year Disney seems to increase this price. So I'm hoping it stays at $30 for 2023. Obviously, if you have an extended car or something like an RV, it's a little bit more expensive. And they do have the preferred parking, which gets you a little bit closer if need be, and that is at $50. But please, Disney, let's keep the parking at $30 because this just keeps adding up on top of everything, but we'll see. All right, so now let's talk about the Disneyland app. I get it. Being on your phone is the last thing you want to do in general, let alone when you're traveling to a Disney property, right? But I promise you, downloading this app and more importantly, becoming familiar with it before your visit, it makes such a difference and really can help maximize your day. Whether it being having your tickets on there or, being able to see in real time what a wait time is for a certain ride, or even if a ride is open. This app really breaks everything down and makes it super simple. And I promise you're not going to be on your phone the entire time. So moving up now a level, I'm going to be talking about something that seems to be very complicated to a lot of people, but I promise you it's so simple. It's more so the name that is confusing people. That is Genie and Genie Plus. What is Genie and what is Genie Plus? Let's back up a little here, all right? I'm gonna give you a little history lesson. So do you remember those FastPass tickets? You would go and get them and be able to skip rides. You come back. It was so nostalgic to have like an actual paper ticket. I miss those. Those got upgraded at one point to MaxPass, which basically was FastPass on your phone. You open up your smartphone. You could do it all with the ease of, your smartphone and be able to virtually do it without having to walk to each FastPass or FastPass distribution and pick up a ticket. Disney got rid of that entire system. There is no more FastPass. There is no more MaxPass. This is now the new and improved Genie and Genie Plus system. Now let me explain the difference. Genie comes automatically in the Disneyland app and basically allows you to organize your day. You cherry pick which things you like, which things you don't, and it tells you based off of prior data, come back to Haunted Mansion around this time because usually it's dead. No pun intended. But it basically gives you the ability to organize your day and tries to help you out. That is Genie. That is completely free. That comes within the Disneyland app. You just open it up, bam, hit Genie, and you can organize your day. Genie Plus, though, is a paid program. It is an add-on that ranges from $25 to $30 per day per ticket. However, it allows you to skip the line and come back to some of your favorite rides, especially when it's super busy. When you open up and sign up for Genie Plus, you reserve lightning lanes is what they're referred to. And just like MaxPass, just like FastPass, you come back to those rides and it is obviously subject to availability. Now let's break it down a little further. All available rides that used to have FastPass or MaxPass are on Genie Plus. You can make lightning lanes for them, and that comes all under the umbrella of the $25 to $30 per day per ticket of Genie Plus. However, there are two rides that are not included. Those are Radiator Racers and Rise of the Resistance. Those are the only two rides that do not come with the Genie Plus purchase. What you have to do is then purchase a separate lightning lane ticket for those rides, again, subject to availability. So here's another option that a lot of people are unaware of. You don't have to purchase Genie Plus, obviously, in general, but let's say all you want to do is go on Radiator Racers, or if you want to go on Rise of the Resistance. You can purchase a la carte an individual Lightning Lane for those two rides. So you don't even have to purchase the $25 to $30 Genie Plus. You can just purchase their individual Lightning Lane. Obviously, again, those are subject to availability, and depending on the demand and the time of year you go, the price can be quite high. But a lot of people do that just because those are the two most popular rides at Disneyland. And, you know, if you aren't in the market or not in the mood to get Genie Plus, but still want to just skip the line for that one ride, you can do that as an option. So quick recap, Genie is free. That comes in the Disneyland app. Genie Plus is something you have to opt into. It is a separate charge, anywhere from $25 to $30 per day per ticket. And that basically replaced the Max Pass or Fast Pass system, where you can now reserve Lightning Lanes for 90% of the rides at Disneyland and DCA, except for Rise of the Resistance and Radiator Racers. Those you're gonna have to purchase a separate, an individual Lightning Lane if you wanna get on either one of those rides. Of course, also subject to availability. Lastly, I will say when it comes to Genie Plus, you have the ability to either purchase it when you originally buy your tickets. So when you go online, when you use the app, it'll ask, do you want to add on Genie Plus? And you can purchase it right then and there, lock in the price, and be good to go. But up until that point, from there until you actually hit your reservation date, you can't upgrade to Genie Plus. It's only until you get to the parks on that very day of your reservation that you can then opt into Genie Plus. So the reason why I say that is if you want to get Genie Plus no matter what, as soon as you book your tickets, just do it right then and there. It's one less step to do and you lock in the price. But if you're kind of on the fence or don't know, that's totally fine. You just have to wait up until the day that you show up to the parks. Then you have the option of opting in for Genie Plus and paying for it then and there. So the choice is up to you, but that kind of is a brief explanation, not very brief, but a simple explanation of Genie and Genie Plus. Another great feature that I think a lot of people don't realize is you can link up your tickets, both your park tickets and if you decide to get Genie Plus or Lightning Lanes, all as one party on your phone. So basically, you link everybody's ticket all within the app, and then whoever is linked in that party, whether it's one phone or three phones, everybody's tickets are all together. So then that way, one person can scan everybody in, and especially when it comes to Genie Plus, you can reserve Lightning Lanes all with just one phone. Trust me when I say this, download the app and make sure you link up your tickets before the park, because it'll make such a big difference, and it's so much easier if one person just has it or if a few other people have it. Especially when it comes to getting in the park and booking your Lightning Lanes. Something that I think a lot of people don't take more advantage of is the mobile food ordering. Now, you obviously have the ability to go up to almost any restaurant now and order in person what you want, and that's totally fine. You could still do that. But if you're like me, and I'm a foodie, I'm constantly ordering and eating things throughout the day, and you will waste so much time standing in line, looking at menus, waiting for the food to come out, when you can just as easily order from the app. All you do is you open it up, you put in your mobile order. They have practically every restaurant or every snack that you can imagine, and you can customize, do whatever you normally would do in person, but you can do it across on the opposite side of the park, all within the phone app. Download the app, become familiar with it before your visit, and I promise you, you'll notice a world of difference, and you're not gonna feel like you're on your phone the entire day. Moving on, so Disney is going to be celebrating their 100th anniversary, and with that comes some really exciting things at Disneyland. Starting with Sleeping Beauty's castle, it's going to be completely transformed to update with their 100th anniversary, as well as some new parades, some new fireworks shows. World of Color has a new show coming to it as well, but what I think a lot of people are super excited about is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is a new ride that will be finally opening in Toontown on January 27th, 2023. This is the same day as the official kickoff for the Disney 100 celebrations. So Normally, we kind of expect January and February as well to be the dead months where it's very easy to skip the crowds and, not have a lot of people next to you. However, because Disneyland is celebrating their Disney 100, you can expect starting January 27th for there to be probably a lot more people than usual. Along with the celebration comes some construction. As I mentioned, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will be open. However, Toontown itself doesn't open up for another few weeks after January 27th. So again, the ride will be open, but Toontown will remain closed. Along with construction updates, Splash Mountain will be closing sometime in 2023, but Disneyland hasn't officially announced as of this video when they will be closing. Disney World will be closing their Splash Mountain on January 23rd, making January 22nd the last official day to ride it. Disneyland has not officially announced when their last day will be, so it could be the same time, but we aren't for certain. This ride will then be rethemed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which is going to be really exciting. But if you do plan on wanting to ride Splash Mountain one more time before it's officially closed, as of right now, kind of keep the January 22nd date in mind, but I'll try and give you guys an update as soon as we hear when Disneyland's official close date is for Splash Mountain. Something that I think is super important that a lot of people overlook is what you take with you to any Disney park. Now, I'm not just talking about your tickets, your phone, your family members, friends. I'm saying what it is that you physically pack in your arsenal before visiting. Whether you're speaking about clothing and kind of what the weather's going to be, or packing an extra phone charger. For me, I think one of the most important overlooked things is a sweatshirt. Obviously, Disneyland tends to be very warm and very nice during the summer. The weather can switch just like that. And the last thing you want to do is spend extra money maybe buying some merchandise or merchandise that you didn't intend on buying, let alone wasting time when you could be spending that time watching a fireworks show or going on a ride. Bringing a sweatshirt, I am telling you, you're never going to regret that moment. Whether it's for you or for a family member, when the sun goes down at any park in Disneyland or Disney World, whatever, you're gonna get cold. And having that sweatshirt, you're gonna be so happy that you brought it. So promise me if you do go and bring a backpack, take a sweatshirt with you. I'm telling you, you will not regret it. And it really will come in handy when it comes to maximizing your time and not spending extra money. Another thing that you wanna consider packing with you is not only a phone charger, but an external mobile charger that you can bring with you so you can charge while you're on the go. Like I mentioned earlier, you're gonna be on your phone a lot more while you're using the Disneyland app. And from the moment you get there to the moment you leave, depending on how long that is, your battery can drain very quickly. And this is something that you don't wanna be stuck having to either pay or stuck with just not having a phone for the rest of the evening while visiting one of the parks. So purchase one of these mobile chargers. There's so many of them on Amazon, and you'll be glad that you brought it with you. And the last thing I'm gonna suggest that you bring in your arsenal is a little goofy, pun intended, but it really will pay off for a multitude of reasons. And that is trash bags. Now you're wondering, well, there's literally a trash can every 10 feet at any of these parks. Why would I need a trash bag? When you are visiting any of these parks, there's a lot of water attractions, right? And maybe depending on the weather, or even if it's perfectly nice outside, the last thing you want to do is maybe be completely soaked or have your shoes, when they're so soaked, they're squeaking around and your feet are just wet the entire day. Yeah, nobody wants that, right? That's very uncomfortable. Bringing a trash bag not only is super easy to do, takes up practically no space, but it really repels water, especially in like an emergency situation. You can obviously bring an umbrella. You can obviously get a poncho. However, those things maybe you don't have right then and there, and you have to spend extra money to do so, let alone you're competing with everyone else that is doing that. So having this trash bag comes in handy because if it does decide to rain just out of nowhere, you could throw it on real quick, easily rip a hole for your head and for your arms. That way you can stay dry and not have to go stand in line or wait maybe like inside of a store until the rain stops. It also really comes in handy, especially if you go on these water theme rides where your shoes get wet. For me personally, a lot of times I bring a change of shoes or like flip-flops, but if I'm gonna be, on my feet all day, I might just be wearing normal tennis shoes. And of course, the last thing you wanna do is be walking around in wet shoes. Not only is it uncomfortable, not only are your feet just wet and gross the whole day, but it ruins the shoes, it ruins the experience. I like to bring these trash bags to literally put on my feet when I go on something like Splash Mountain or Grizzly Rapids. That way, if I do get soaked, you could bring an extra trash bag to cover you, but at least you end up hopefully drying throughout the day and your shoes are dry as can be. Bring trash bags and bring more than you think, because I'm telling you, this will come in handy and you'll be thanking me later. And finally, I think the most important thing when it comes to visiting really any Disney property is being able to not only manage your expectations, but to understand that sometimes when you do this due diligence, whether it be purchasing things ahead or, accounting for weather or maybe crowds, sometimes you show up and it's not what you expected and it might not turn out exactly how you had it planned in your head. But that's totally okay. Some of my most favorite times at these parks are just kind of going with the flow and not having a game plan. When you do visit these parks, no matter when you do, go in with a smile on your face. Don't really have any expectations. If anything, expect there to be crowds, expect there to be lines. But if you go in just knowing that you have made it this far, being with your friends and family or your loved ones, anyone, even if you're by yourself, this is such an awesome time, and 2023 is really such a great time to visit any Disney park. For now, my name is Jake from Jake at the Park, and I'll see you later.